Well, thank you, Nath, for your time today. The goal of jumping on this call was really to, I guess, unpack. We've recently become ISO accredited, which is woo, big deal, awesome. But we get a fair few questions across the fence from prospects as well as clients around what that was like. So I thought since you were a core part of that process and the review process internally, if we jumped on a call and explored that, that would be awesome. So I guess the first question was, what was it like to prepare for accreditation and I guess going for the actual accreditation itself? If you could share a bit.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, we're pretty highly process or documentation orientated business as it was. So we had a good start with building out the ISMS. So that was certainly a help, but it was a mountain of work, updating our
Yeah.
processes to conform to the standards, but also making sure that we're adhering to them as well. So Liam and I are both pretty plan heavy type of people, as you will well attest, Anna, but so that meant that we over prepared probably for stage one, which meant that happened very quickly. And we're like, yep, stage one is done and we can move on to stage two very quickly.
Yep.
So most of our ducks were in a row for stage two as well, which was great. Stage two was definitely a little more nerve wracking. Trying to evidence the certain ways that we do business to an auditor that doesn't quite understand those pieces was definitely a challenge. So that was one that we took away from that, was to improve the way that we do evidence of how we're doing business. But we were pretty chuffed to be able to get through stage two with literally no recommendations or areas of improvement as well, which was pretty good.
Awesome. And just for anyone who doesn't understand what's the difference between stage one and stage two in going for accreditation?
Yeah, so stage one is your prep to make sure that you have all of the baselines. So effectively the auditor's going, yeah, you've got a system here that can actually be audited. Stage two is the audit, the full audit of those systems. So if you're kind of just doing back of the paper envelope or back of the envelope type policies, and that's what you present in stage one, they're probably going to tell you to do a bit of work before you're ready for stage two.
Yeah. Okay. So it gives you a better chance effectively of gaining the accreditation on the other side.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, having been so prepared, what were some of the challenges or surprises in going for the accreditation that perhaps you didn't see in that stage one audit going to stage two?
Yeah, I guess some of the early takeaways, my expectation was that we kind of needed to be perfect and that everything had to be, squeaky clean. But the realization that what it was is more that you needed to have a process that you're adhering to, and then you have to implement the culture of improvement, which was really good. Like, so it was you don't have to be perfect to do this, but you need to be saying this is what we do, and
Yeah.
then looking to improve those pieces. So that was really good. I guess the other what it wasn't really a challenge or surprise, but during the path between stage one and stage two, we did a deep dive audit on our NEO process. I think you'll remember that one as well.
Yeah.
But that was really beneficial for me as someone who loves to see improvements. It was great to look at a very thorough process that we already have and recently had gone through, and still being able to find some areas that we can make some tweaks or suggestions for improvement. So that's
Yeah.
certainly it was a surprise to find that process found stuff that we could do that wasn't, nothing was non-conform in any way, but it was
Yeah.
just internally for things to go, we could do that a little bit differently or
Yeah.
better, which was good.
Which
Um,
speaks to the cultural improvement kind of piece potentially that you were reaching for and what that brought to our organization.
yeah, we already had it, but it's good to have that sort of structure around it to be able to
Mm.
go, oh, we can now do it in this way. And so I think that was really helpful. Um, I think most people suggested prior that it takes about 12 months to plan, prepare, and go through the
Yeah.
audit. And we had a target of getting it done in 3 months. So that was certainly a challenge,
Of course we
but we
did.
did it.
Yep.
And I guess, what does sound like blowing our own horn, another surprise was once again, we were doing pretty much everything that we needed to. And it was about documenting some of that a little bit clearer and then adding some extra governance around the consistency in which we do those.
Mm.
And then just adding some additional review points in there as well. So I guess that was the major sort of challenges and surprises.
Yeah. And just for anyone who is watching this video, NEO is not to do with the Matrix. It is our new employee orientation process, which took me a while to learn. What's life like post-certification, I guess, on the other side of having, yay, gained our accreditation? Is that it? Now we're in the free and clear? Or what does it look like to actually maintain an accreditation?
Yeah, I mean, mostly business as usual. I think Liam and I gave each other a little bit of a fist bump when we got the
Yeah.
news that we were done. And we're like, great. And we had the little team celebration. And I think we had a drink one of the beer o'clocks on the Thursday. But outside of that, we kind of just went back into doing our job. So Outside of that, it's kind of a few extra meetings that we have and some reports to review, but largely it's just that added layer of governance to things that we were already doing. So not a huge change post-certification for us, but the other component being a little bit of an extra work in terms of the audit. So call me a sadist, but I do enjoy those. So challenging our processes to improve and continually get better at what we do is something that I take a lot of pride in, and knowing that what we're doing, is largely impactful for our clients. Is we have to get better at these things because they're relying on us to do well in this space, and so I enjoy that part of the process.
Yeah, awesome.
I guess the other part was probably some additional context for the type of advice that I give our clients when they're asking for policy review, when they're asking for what should I have. So we've definitely got a few clients that are going through accreditation process. So it's good to have gone through it myself and go, I know what we know, and have taken notes on the way through the process of some gotchas and things that we would go, hey, make sure you know about this stuff, like the evidence stuff I was talking about earlier. But likewise, just that, I've got another layer of perspective to go, okay, this is what they're looking for in this kind of audit. So some of it you go, okay, this is how you get accredited. Others add these things in because they're best practice, and it's not just about the accreditation, it's about doing business securely. So you could tick a box, but having a policy that doesn't just tick the box of this is now done, it's done and we can do it well, I think is the other part that was helpful through there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, for anyone who might be considering it or looking at ISO or wanting to talk ISO, obviously we enjoy our data security here, but we would always be open to the conversation. So thank you for your time, Nath, and hopefully this helps someone.